tucked away in a tranquil residential suburb of The Hague known as Wassenaar, lies the majestic Koninklijke Haagsche Golf and Country Club, the English translation being Royal Hague. Whilst this course is by no means the oldest, the club was first to be founded in the Netherlands in 1893, and with that, the sport, or some would argue, the modern version of the sport, was born here. Throughout its early years, Royal Hague was revered around the country. However, the Second World War saw their first site completely destroyed, leaving them without a home. Shortly before the war, Daniel Wolf, a successful Dutch businessman, acquired land in Wassenaar and developed a stunning country house which now serves as the clubhouse. Wolf also had an eye for ambitious, daring course architecture and wished to build a private course on the dramatic land which could be found over the other side of the ridge. With the firm of Colt, Allison and Morrison now being a household name in Dutch golf course design, requests for Colt service were sent forth. By 1938, however, Colt's health was deteriorating and his days of travelling were over. Instead, his able partners in Charles Hugh Allison and John Morrison were sent to help Mr. Wolf design his course. One can only imagine their faces after turning off a quiet suburban road just outside the administrative headquarters of the country to be met by these rolling sand-capped dunes of truly biblical proportions. Stretching off in every direction, the Leviathan dunes are a result of westerly winds and coastal deposits pushing sediment inland to create these huge landforms. This is a bold and daring site to locate a golf course, but one that creates unrivaled views and a completely unique aesthetic. The severe undulations arranged by the hand of Mother Nature mean that routing a course and finding suitable green sites would have been a tricky exercise. Greens are perched on top of dunes, demanding exacting play to the correct areas, or nestled in natural dells and hollows of the lower land. The course balances these two attributes, and while the dramatic drops in elevation or ascents to the greens are noticeable, the result is a course which provides a rigorous examination of one's ball striking. Critics argue who was ultimately responsible for the routing, Allison or Morrison. Both had studied under Colt for many years and knew how to route a course, and the reality was likely much more nuanced. What separates this from some other typical Colt designs is the scale. This is bigger, bolder, an assault on the senses. Bunkering is used sparingly, a stroke of genius which uses the land itself to provide the defence. Only 18 bunkers were in place when the course was developed, and only one fairway bunker on the 13th, with the land doing so much of the talking, and extreme changes in elevation and severe runoffs the penalty for an errant shot. Bunkers are of less importance. However, those that are there match the proportions of the greens and the landscape, commanding something much more grand. The Caddymaster hut on the high point of the land is a moment of tranquility before you begin. Out and across the sprawling terrain where all you can make out are the series of greens, leaving you wondering what is about to unfold. You tee off the 1st and 10th holes from high land, and in doing so, the adventure begins. The first hole, a par 5, plunges out and away downhill, a climb you will need to make back up on the second, with your second shot played up the steep face of the dune in front of you. The third then requiring a drive across a huge valley before playing up to a green perched beyond another deep depression in the land, before the fourth plunges back down 45 feet to a green nestled at the base of the dunes. The 6th and 7th are another set of awe-inspiring holes. When played from the back, the 6th may be the toughest of all holes in Dutch golf. A long, demanding tee shot out across the ravine to a fairway banked by dunes, you are left with a long club into the prevailing wind with immense contours repelling anything but sheer perfection into a huge dale off to the right of the green. The 7th has all the feelings of an ancient links. with a drive over a steep dune where you find the rumpled fairway, with the green perilously stitched into the side of a dune where there is no future for anything long. Nothing, however, demonstrates the drama of golf at Royal Hague quite like the 18th. It was Daniel Wolf's own suggestion that the reveal of the clubhouse should be saved until the end. And as you step onto the tee box, you are greeted with your first view of the palatial clubhouse that lies some 550 yards away. The fairway looks to be minute from on high, and the course seems to be telling you that your day is not yet done. Like many of the holes at Royal Hague, however, you soon realise there is much more room off the tee than it appears. Trickery of the highest order from Allison and Morrison. The par 5 meanders its way towards the clubhouse, where you play your approach to the mightiest backdrop in Dutch golf, with the clubhouse waiting beyond. The course didn't open to huge fanfare when Daniel Wolf was the proprietor. Such was the effect of the Second World War that it went largely unnoticed by the golfing world. Wolf managed to enjoy his private course and shared his home with guests who came to play for only a short time, sadly having to flee the Netherlands in the shadow of the looming Nazi occupation. Following the war and Wolf's passing in 1942, his widow sold the course to the then homeless Royal Hague Golf Club, and they have been the custodian ever since. Colt's work in the Netherlands gave birth to some of the greatest Golden Age courses you can find anywhere in the world. To truly understand the world we inhabit, one must be willing to venture into the unknown, to find experiences that would previously be unimaginable to those of us with meagre experience. Life is short and the world is wide, and to quote the late Anthony Bourdain, travel isn't always pretty, it isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts, it even breaks your heart. But that's okay. The journey changes you, and it should change you. It leaves a mark on your memory, your consciousness, on your heart and on your body. You take something with you, and hopefully you'll leave something good behind. Simply put, golf in the Netherlands is very good indeed.